Oh, here we go again, ladies and gentlemen, right out here in the middle of Hollandale Beach, Florida, where the mastermind of tennis, Yak T Zen Man, will expound on some of the great secrets, which are not secrets at all, but where the subconscious mind makes things happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to be too funny with you people because I know some of you don't have a sense of humor. Uh, there is a secret area called the zone, and many athletes, professional athletes and champion athletes, both golfers and tennis players and basketball players, baseball players, any type of sports activities that require hand and eye coordination have been using this technique for many centuries. And it simply means that being in the zone, your body is taking care of all of the biomechanical activity without any input from you. You don't need to make input except to visualize and somehow magically set a goal to do what you want it is to do in the sporting activity with which you are actually involved. If you're hitting a tennis ball, obviously you'd like to strike it cleanly at a correct contact point and with the correct amount of pace and spin and this sort of thing. But the undue wordiness in your mind is what sort of changes that stroke and makes it so inefficient that if you're lucky, you will become a champion and you will become great in spite of all your idiotic ways of running your mind. You have to have a quiet mind when you're in the zone, and this is one of the hallmarks of being in the zone in athletics or anything, any human activity for that matter. It has to do simply with having a quiet mind and letting the body's biomechanics and its human computer do the work for you. We somehow magically look across the court, and by looking across the court, we test our computers in our mind and our body, test the wind speed, the barometric pressure, all of the things that are indicative of the weather and the environment and the things that would affect the travel of the ball. And our body is continually making minor corrections, and it doesn't need you to make verbal inputs in your subconscious mind or even in your conscious mind. You know, many people are out there on the court talking to themselves, and they are doing things in their mind that are just totally against pure and efficient biomechanics. Just track the ball with your eyes, and your feet will actually move you to a spot on the court where you will stop, set up, and hit the ball. And, of course, sometimes you won't be able to stop and get into good position because the other person may be in the zone also. But you have to have a quiet mind, and you can't be talking to yourself, and you can't be talking about moving your feet and watching the ball and all of these things. Just do it. You know, Nike came up with the saying, just do it. Well, you actually have to just do it. Just picture what you want done, and the body has a miraculous way of just following it. If you follow this idiotic saying that so many coaches over the years have gotten used to saying, keep your eye on the ball, and you'll notice I've been beating that to death, and I'm going to stop doing it, but you must understand that when someone tells me to keep my eye on the ball, I got to ask them, which eye are you referring to, and then stop telling our children to keep your eye on the ball. It's not about keeping your eye on the ball. That whole deal has to do with keeping your head still and not changing your stroke in the middle of the stroke. You keep your eyes on the ball. You watch the ball, you track it around the court, and you cannot, by any means, watch a ball as it comes into your racket strings, as all the great commentators said. He really watches that ball all the way into the strings. Well, if you do, you're whipping your neck to the side, and it's such a blur when it does hit the strings, you can't possibly see it. Just keep your head still. This is what this whole thing is about. Just like when you're hitting a golf ball, you keep your head down and keep your eyes on that ball in a relaxed manner and make contact with it. Now, of course, it goes much further than that. There's a lot of preparation and a lot of training that goes into tennis. But tennis matches are won a point at a time. Life is lived a moment at a time. The 12-step programs that try to get people dug out of this addiction problem, they had it almost right, except they said this thing about keeping your eyes on the ball. Well, I got news for you, folks. It's not living a day at a time. You can't live a day at a time. You can live a moment at a time, but there's no way possible for you to live a day at a time. You'd have to be crazy if you think for one moment that you can live a day at a time. How can you live 24 hours at a time? That's pretty tough to do. Yak T Zen Man signing off loud and clear from somewhere deep in the heart of Hallandale, Florida, the mastermind of tennis and gamesmanship. See you on the flip-flop, ladies and gentlemen. Good night and good luck.